Hey, yo, what's the deal? What's the deal, man? It's your man, Will. Welcome to Coffee Talk. Coffee Talk with Will. Hey, check this out, man. This story that I'm finna share with y'all, man, it stems from a dream that I had. You know what I mean? I just want to share it with y'all. Check this out. Check it out.
Everybody can't go. Everybody don't believe. A man named Nathan Hughes laid down in his bed one night, only to wake up in an unfamiliar territory. He looked around and didn't recognize where he was at. He looked for family, friends, or people in general, but there was no one around far as the eye can see. He noticed that he was on a dark, desolate street with a silver murky or illuminating from the sky. It was very quiet and the only thing that he can hear was his own footsteps. He called out for someone, but no one came nor answered. As he slow walked to the destination of nowhere, he was summoned by a calming presence that relaxed him momentarily to gain his understanding on what's happening and what's going to happen. The presence gave him a sense of comfort, the kind of comfort that you get when you're familiar with someone, the kind of comfort only a mother can give, but it wasn't his mother. Yet the presence spoke to him without words and hugged him without physically touching him. The presence moved his attention to a building coming up the road that he will have to pass through. It alarmed his consciousness of the danger the building possesses. It told him that in order to get to his next destination of his life in the hereafter, he'd have to go through this process. It told him that if he stayed on the dark, murky street, that he will be there by himself throughout his hereafter. And he will remain there until he's ready to pass. And no one gets to the other side without passing through the creepy building. It told him that it won't be easy, but continue to listen for my roar for guidance. At times it will faint or be drowned out due to the strong forces that the building holds. But if you continue to listen to the roar, you will make it out of this building. So Nathan slowly approached the building with no worries at first. It was like the roaring presence that he was being one with walked him to the door and left. All of the relaxing, calming, familiar feelings that was once there suddenly disappeared. The building seemed active and busy until he approached the front double glass doors. Then it seemed as if the building knew he was coming, and everything got real still and quiet, as if the building was looking right at him. He opened the doors and saw the eyes of the people that's not physically there, but yet forever tied to the building. They wasn't able to talk, but pointed him down a hallway that he must go down. It was many different hallways, but he was only allowed to pass through this particular one. When he stood at the end of the hallway, he heard the whispers of the people that couldn't speak. The whispers got loud, and Nathan tried to make out what they were saying, but he couldn't because they were many different voices uttering many different things, and in different languages. But they were all pointing in one direction. They were pointing to the end of the hallway, where a figure was standing. He had the body of a man and the face of a beast, and the beast was ready for war. The beast made sure that no one or nothing leaves the building. The beast was not the only danger there. There was a bear roaming around looking for food, and it only ate the flesh of the people who feared the beast. Nathan thought that if he hid in one of the rooms he would be safe, but when he ran into one of the rooms, he felt a strong force. The force was that of an evil energy that couldn't touch or harm him physically, the kind of energy that could come from one's enemies, the kind of that there is no escaping from. Nathan looked around the room and witnessed the dimming of lights and the sound of water dripping from the faucet. As the room became brighter and darker, at the same time he seen a little girl sitting on the floor with a red dress on. He couldn't see her face because she was faced the wall. Nathan noticed that all of the building's evil energy came from her, and she has put the beast in power, and had the bear put there to come against the unruly ones that want to come out of the building. The little girl tried to convince Nathan that the calming, mothering roar that led him to the building was an illusion, and that it wasn't real, and to listen to all of the whispering people that can't talk. They will attest that no one leaves. Suddenly the whispers began getting louder and louder, and Nathan kept trying to make out what was being said. Nathan knew that this was not where he wanted to be, and it must be a way out. Nathan felt it in his spirit that he was being tricked by the enemy, and he knew the enemy nor its helpers couldn't touch him physically. He closed his eyes and focused on the roar. The roar was indeed behind all of the whispering chatter and noise of the people who didn't believe that they can get out from under evil energy of the enemy. The roar became louder and louder. The mothering presence gave Nathan the strength to overpower the bear and the courage to defeat the beast. The roar gave him the power to move the evil energy from his mind, and the leadership to lead a few people out of the other side of the building. Even though everyone didn't go with Nathan, Nathan realized he wouldn't be able to take everybody. Everybody can't go. Everybody don't believe. A story by William Kimbrough.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So in that story right there, man, if you listen to the whole video and you peep the whole scene out, the whole video out, like I said, it came from a dream that I had. So I just had to put it down, put the story down, you know what I mean? So Nathan, of course, he died, you know, and he woke up in the spiritual realm, you know what I mean? And the comforting entity that approached him, we can now know that it was the voice of God talking to him, you know what I mean? And he had to approach a building. First, he had to come out of the desolate area that he was in to pass through the building. So the building represents earth, you know what I mean? And so inside of the building was all of the negativity, all of the things that's inside of earth, you know? And God was telling him, hey, look, in order to make it to the other side where I'm at, you know, you have to follow my voice. The roar that you will hear will be my voice, you know? And sometimes when you listen to God's voice, you would get cluttered with all of the chatter and all the muttering and all of the whispering that all the people that was inside of the building that was doing. You know, he couldn't make out what they were saying, because that's just like in real life here on earth. You can't really make out what everybody's saying because it's so much clutter, you know, it's so much uttering. And then, you know, they would point him in one direction, you know what I mean? That's like here on earth, you know, they point you in one direction. And the beast, of course, it represented, you know, man, you know, the figure, the man figure with the beast face represents man, you know. And the bear that's in the story represent pretty much like the military, you know. And of course, you know, the evil force that was prompting all of this, of course, we can say that evil force was Satan, you know what I mean? So Satan was trying to convince him that the roar and the calming entity that approached him at the beginning, you know, he tried to convince him that that was an illusion. That's what Satan does. He convinced you. The biggest trick that Satan did was try to convince you that God is not real. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much what it was right there. So he had to revert back to what he, you know, what he started from when the roar approached him. You know, the calming motherly spirit that approached him. You know, so he had to close his eyes and pray, and then all of a sudden the chattering, the chattering that all the people was doing, and the whispering that they was doing that was getting loud, all of a sudden it started coming down to a minimum, and the roaring, you know, God's voice, he can hear God's voice more and more and more. That's how he was able to conquer his fears, you know, of being in that place, in the building, which represented earth, you know, or which represented here on earth. He was able to conquer that because he was hearing God's voice get louder and louder and louder, and he was able to, you know, overpower the bear, and he was able to get past the beast. You know what I mean? So that's what we have to do. You know what I mean? We have to put the chatter to the back of us and keep following God's voice. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all I got, man. You know, take it for what it's worth, you know? Let me know what y'all think in the comments.